Marketing psychology, the impact on consumers' decisions.
What is marketing psychology?
Marketing psychology is the study of how people perceive, process, and respond to information and advertisements. It includes topics like advertising, persuasion, media, marketing strategy, and consumer behavior. The idea behind this field is to use psychology tools to make marketing more effective.
Understanding human nature.
Product features. What does the product have to offer? Does it look cool? Does it fit into my lifestyle?
These are some of the questions we ask when evaluating a product.
Product image. Is the visual appealing? Does the packaging stand out from other products in my store? Branding. Does the name ring true? If a company uses the same colors as a competitor, could their product be seen as being cheap? Price. What is the price tag? Would you pay this amount? Promotion. How long does the promotion take?
Have there been any recent recalls or bad publicity? Advertising campaign. How did the campaign come together?
Did they reach their target audience?
Customer service. Were customers satisfied with the service? Persuasion. Ads are persuasive when they tap into our subconscious mind.
Psychologists call this knowledge cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychologists say our personality traits influence how we interpret and react to things around us. In addition, some personalities are more prone to one type of thinking than another.
The following types of advertising appeal to various parts of the psyche.
Emotional appeal. People often purchase items after watching movies or listening to music. Information appeal. A scientific approach appeals to rational minds. Persuasive appeal. Companies try to convince us to purchase their goods through facts. Social appeal. Social media ads such as Facebook pages ask users to share information about themselves.
This is social proof. Social proof. In a nutshell, social proof refers to the tendency to follow the lead of others. And if everyone is doing it, then we might as well join the fun. When we see people acting in a certain way, we often imitate them. Then, we notice their behavior and try to repeat them as closely as possible.
Peer pressure isn't highly effective, it's only useful when we're pressured to do something we don't want to do anyway.
Does it work? Yes.
An experiment done by researchers in the 1970s proved the effectiveness of social proof. Social proof is used in advertising to encourage people to buy products. A company releases a new product and uses an advertising campaign to convince people that this model is desirable.
How to use it? Using social proof requires that you ask yourself why you are buying a certain product. Instead of trying to persuade you to buy something, companies should focus on persuading other people to buy the same thing. Why does social proof work?
So why do we use social proof so much? Well, we all want reassurance that what we're thinking is right.
We also want to make sure that our choices match those of the majority. Influence.
According to David Dunning and Justin Kruger, 1999, experts can influence us without having to present facts about their subject. In fact, expert advice doesn't work very well either. Experts are usually seen as authorities, and people trust them because of how good they are at their jobs. They'll give reasons why their recommendation is important and describe the benefits of following their advice.
So instead of telling us that it's okay to eat junk food, an expert advisor will say it's wrong to do it. Experts make us believe that their recommendations are valuable because they offer a reason we need to follow their advice. Consumer behaviors. When companies want to persuade people to purchase their products, they need to carefully choose words and images that resonate with the audience. People don't always behave logically. The best marketing psychologists try to figure out which elements of the environment encourage distinct kinds of consumption. The right kind of advertising can also influence consumer behavior. A company can use eye tracking devices to see where consumers look during an ad. A tracking technology shows that women prefer short ads while men favor long ones. Consumer emotions. Psychologists believe that happiness affects everyday life. For this reason, marketers sometimes target specific emotional states. They might design special packaging or print advertisements that elicit feelings of joy or sadness. Marketing psychology principles that influence consumer behavior. Self-perception, consumers have self-image problems.
They think their peers would judge them negatively if they tried the new brand of shampoo. Social pressure, we don't like being around someone who has bad body odor. If our friends tell us they've bought the same brand of beer, it seems like everyone has suddenly decided to drink Bud Light. Availability, research suggests that people are more prone to purchase goods when they're available, and fewer when they aren't.
Reputation, it's difficult to get away from negative news stories. As soon as one pops up, it tends to stick around.
Consistency, our brains are hardwired to expect things to stay the same.
Reciprocity, we'll do anything to keep good customers happy.
Authority, when we hear an expert recommend a particular product, we tend to trust him. Conformity, a lot of factors influence what we wear, but they all fall into 4 categories: peer pressure, the media, advertising, and personal preferences.
Liking, we need to like a product before we're willing to pay.
Expectations, customers develop expectations about a brand based on previous experiences.
Self-fulfillment prophecy. Self-efficacy, if we believe we can succeed at something, we will feel better about trying. Bandwagon effect, we frequently follow others just to avoid looking like a loner.
Impression management, we sometimes pretend to be someone we aren't in order to fit in socially. Fundamental attribution error, we overestimate what causes our own success and underestimate what causes failure. Illusion of control, we feel that we can control things even if it isn't true. Disconfirming evidence bias, we ignore negative evidence and focus only on positive data. Illusory truth effect, we typically accept new facts if they confirm old beliefs. Halo effect, the influence of one person or thing on another influences our perception of them both.
Hindsight bias, we think we know more now than we did then.
Anchoring bias, we rely heavily on first impressions without considering all relevant data.
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
The most important thing to remember about marketing psychology is that it's not magic. It doesn't guarantee success, but it does provide insight into why some companies succeed and others fail.
Color psychology. There are many ways to apply color psychology to marketing.
For example, if you want to encourage someone to buy something, you could use colors that evoke feelings of happiness, success, or excitement. For example, if you want to encourage someone to buy something, you could use colors that evoke feelings of happiness, success, or excitement.
Reciprocity works because humans don't always behave rationally.
Even though you may not be a professional content marketer or designer, the use of colors on your website can affect the way people perceive your brand and whether they choose to buy from you.
The power of yes.
As a marketer, it's essential to know what motivates people to act.
Research shows that the most powerful motivation comes from believing something will happen if they agree to it.
The more that person believes in the power of challenging work, the more that belief becomes a reality.
But the yes factor certainly gives us a huge advantage in our business.
Decisions are emotional. People tend to make decisions based on emotion rather than logic.
Marketers can tap into this by creating emotional connections between their brand and its audience. Another tactic is to create a sense of urgency around a purchase. People need to be motivated to buy now, so they won't miss an opportunity.
Motivation. The most common way marketing psychologists use psychology is by creating messages that appeal to consumers' emotions and motivations.
This approach has become known as emotional branding. What you should do instead is find a few motivational slogans and place them near where the invitations go.
Instead of saying "come join us for food and fun," say "let's eat together."
Learning.
The most important thing to remember when it comes to marketing psychology is that it's not magic. It doesn't guarantee success, it just gives us another tool in our arsenal.
Be creative.
Use different formats like cartoons, infographics, or animated GIFs to teach people things they wouldn't learn otherwise.
Focus on the big picture.
Don't forget about details, they're essential too.
Consider the context surrounding a topic to understand why it's relevant. Think about who you're talking to.
Are you trying to persuade an audience of 10-year-olds? Or are you aiming to convince CEOs of tech companies in Silicon Valley?
Reinforcement.
The reinforcement model of marketing focuses on the idea that people will act in ways that increase their chances of receiving rewards. This includes both tangible rewards, such as money, and intangible rewards, like social status. In general, people tend to associate positive outcomes, good health, excellent job prospects, with certain actions, eating healthy foods, exercising, whereas negative consequences, illness, unemployment, are associated with other actions. Another problem is that sometimes people don't necessarily associate their desired outcome with the specific action they take. On the other side, if a teacher believes that students must achieve high GPAs to get into college, he might focus less on teaching his class and spend more time grading papers. Socialization. The social media landscape has changed dramatically since the early days of Facebook. Today, most users spend at least some amount of time on social networks like Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, YouTube, and others.
Most of us do not make decisions independently.
Instead, we rely heavily on others when choosing our next steps, especially in situations where we feel uncertain or overwhelmed.
The reason, individuals assume that everyone else around them is behaving according to social norms, and they follow suit. Yet, today there are far more communication channels through which people interact with each other.
This diversity poses challenges for brands because messages sent via traditional channels cannot be equally effective across all communication platforms.
Modeling.
The primary goal behind this kind of modeling is prediction, predicting what will happen because of specific choices.
But just because something can be predicted doesn't mean it necessarily should be done.
It's important to realize that marketing doesn't always refer to direct promotion.
It can include anything that involves communicating a company's brand values or core competencies. Many companies are now paying attention to branding, but few really understand what it means. To get your audience interested in reading your content, you must create a compelling headline.
A unique headline catches readers' attention and encourages them to continue reading.
Perception. The most important thing to remember when marketing anything is that it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
If you want to increase sales, you should always consider the way you communicate.
A good rule of thumb for creating a memorable slogan is to keep it short.
In general, you shouldn't need more than 60 characters to convey meaning effectively. By studying successful commercial messages, marketing agencies gain valuable insights into effective ways to connect with audiences.
Attitudes and beliefs.
However, when it comes to marketing, no matter which type of media you decide to use, the most important part of your campaign is your target market. Before you decide which type of digital media to use, you should know what your target market is and how to reach them.
The goal of marketing is to persuade people to buy a product or service.
However, marketers cannot simply use facts to make their case, they also need to understand how psychology impacts consumer behavior. By understanding the various psychological factors that influence decision-making, marketers can create more effective marketing campaigns that appeal to consumers on a deeper level. By understanding the different psychological factors that influence consumer decision-making, businesses can create more effective marketing campaigns that are more likely to result in increased sales. Additionally, by understanding the various stages of the consumer decision-making process, businesses can create a more effective sales funnel that will result in more customers purchasing their products or services.